Zebra Technologies and Data Capture Solutions presents the mobile bedside specimen labeling solution with barcode-positive patient identification for VA medical centers. Here's how it works. Lab order data is sent from CPRS to a Zebra Smart Tabletop printer. This printer is configured with custom software that processes the lab order data and provides hard copy output in an easy-to-read format that looks like this. This one hard copy requisition contains all the information for multiple specimen orders and a simple step-by-step guide for the workflow to be performed at the bedside. Notice in the center of this new form a large 2D barcode. This 2D barcode contains all the data needed to print the specimen label, and a facsimile of that label is shown to the right of that 2D barcode. It shows what the specimen label will look like when printed at the patient's bedside. We will take a closer look at the specimen label format in a moment. This 2D barcode also contains the patient's ID number that is used to verify the patient's identity by scanning the wristband. This form also consolidates various specimen collection orders into groups based upon the specimen container type. One label will be printed for each container type collected. For example, the first container type shown here is for a tube with a gold top that will be used to collect a blood specimen for 2 tests to be performed. In this example, one test is for Kappa Lambda QN free light chains panel, and the other is for hepatitis E virus AB IgM serum. Now, let's look at how the form guides the workflow step by step. This form guides the clinician or health tech through the workflow and is also an excellent training aid. Step 1 is to confirm that the barcode scanner is paired with the Zebra mobile printer. Then, scan the Continue barcode on the form to proceed to the next step. If it is not already paired, you simply scan the pairing barcode on the printer, and then scan the Continue barcode on the form to proceed to the next step. Step 2 is to link the identity of the person collecting the specimens to the specimens being collected. This is accomplished by scanning a newly added 2D barcode on the back of an existing ID badge, such as their glucometer ID. Step 3 is to verify the patient's identity by verbally asking the patient's name and social security number or date of birth for those patients who are able to speak. And you can also visually compare the photo on the wristband to the patient, if the wristband contains the patient's photo. In Step 4, the 2D barcode is scanned, loading the lab order data into the Zebra mobile printer. This data contains all the information needed to produce the new bedside printed specimen labels. In Step 5, the patient's wristband is scanned to electronically verify that this is the correct patient. If the patient's wristband ID does not match the patient ID in the lab order, then specimen labels cannot be printed. If they do match, you proceed to Step 6. In Step 6, the clinician determines how many specimen labels to print by scanning each 2D code for each specimen container being collected needed. When a specimen cannot be collected, you simply skip it. To deselect a label that was mistakenly selected to print, the deselect barcode can be scanned. When ready to print, simply scan the Print command barcode at the bottom of the form. There is no longer any need for handwritten information, such as the date and time collected, and the clinician initials. The lab rec number is also included in both barcode and human-readable formats for lab processing. There is also some space reserved to handwrite site or source info if desired. If any specimens were not collected, those that remain can be recycled and reprinted for later collection. This is done by scanning the large 2D barcode on the right side of the form using the scanner attached to the Zebra tabletop printer. A new requisition form is then printed so that the remaining specimens can be collected later using the same lab order number. When your hospital is ready to implement Cerner, this hardware can be repurposed for the Cerner workflows since it is Cerner validated, but this could be many years from now. This solution will enhance patient safety at point of care. Can you afford to wait for the Cerner implementation while our veterans are at risk of having lab specimens incorrectly labeled? An interim solution is needed now. This animated video is presented as an executive summary and overview of the solution by Data Capture Solutions and Zebra Technologies. It was developed as a method of sharing the work done with the VA to raise awareness of the solution. Contact us to learn more.